What's up, United fans? Welcome back to another channel, the Red Devil Republic. I'm your host, Matthew. Today I'm going to be talking about Amorims system and if we should be changing it or if we should be excited about what's been happening with what he's doing. Personally, I'm excited. I'm optimistic about where we might finish in the Premier League. I think it's very likely that we'll get top six. I'm probably willing to bet on that. So let me know what you guys think I should bet. Subscribe first and then throw me a bet. Next, let's look at these statistics. I mean, this is why I'm happy. I think I watched the games and I'm looking at the game against Arsenal. Like, we should have had 3 points there. The game against Fulham, we should have put them away in the first 30 minutes. And then Burnley's no different. I mean, I think Amram was asked in the press conference about whether this is a turning point after Burnley, and he said no, it's not. And when obviously it's not. I think when we are going to make that turning point, we're going to be putting teams away early, and not only that, we're going to be still dominating the games. I think in past we would go up a goal or two, and it looked like the team just kind of shuts off a bit. And I think that's the main issue with these players is they have tendencies to just not turn up for games and shut off. Okay, my mic's on. But yeah, they would just shut off for games like against Grimsby. We go out there and you could just tell there's not energy in the legs at all. And I wouldn't put it on the defense at all. Like Fredrickson, Haven, and McGuire were all turned up, but the midfield was not there. The life in the legs was just not there until the second half, and it was too little, too late. So yeah, that's a whole nother story. But in the Premier League alone, 55 shots, 99 touches in the opposition box, the accurate crosses 6.7, expected goals 6.8, accurate long balls game 31.7. That's almost seven more long balls played than any other team in the Premier League. And I want to talk about system because a lot of people say 4-3-3. Well, I want to talk about the system that Amram's playing now. And I see an innovative way of playing. And it's a lot of long balls. It's a lot of, but it's a long ball with purpose. We're not just pumping long balls like Stoke City was back in the day. We're pumping long balls with a purpose. We're picking up the pieces behind that play. And ultimately, there's fluidity in our game. We have multiple different ways that we attack now. We have ways that we beat the press, and which is crucial because Premier League, the distance covered is crazy. The amount of time that the players are pressing high and trying to win back the ball and your half is higher than any other league that you're going to find. So in order to win, you got to be able to keep possession during that press and also break that press and make them pay for working so hard. That's what really demoralizes teams. And we've been doing a really good job at sucking the other team all the way into our half and playing a killer pass between the lines. A lot of P's going on so far. Killer pass it between the lines and then playing off of that. So I think United have been doing a good job with that. And they've also been doing a good job with combining on the wings, a little bit of pattern play up front. And when I say pattern play, I say runs that trigger other runs. So, for example, if like Delo from right back pushes all the way forward, whoever is playing that right number 10 role, normally in Buemo, will come and support. So just certain things like that kind of change the play. And then Casemiro and Bruno will be that number eights. They're like pivots. So there is no holding midfielder for us. It's basically just a team that moves as a unit. Because when Bruno and Casemiro push up, our back three pushes up as well, unless they're pushing a high man forward. But most teams in the Premier League and most teams in the world now defend with all 10 players. So Amram's taking advantage of teams that do that, and they're pushing players all the way forward. Now, obviously, that means players have to work a lot harder in the system. And I think Amram is building a team that works really hard. So that's why he likes players like Mount. That's why he likes players like Dorgu. He's signing players like Dorgu. Sesko and Buemo came in. They're working really hard. Bruno obviously has been a workhorse his whole career. He wants players that are going to be running all the game. And Casemiro is one of those guys that does work hard, but I think his legs are only fit for about 60 minutes. So that's why we see Ugarte and Manu come on. I think Ugarte was getting the call over Manu. Let's touch on that real quick because he works harder than Manu. For me, Manu's got the talent. He's better than Ugarte, but he doesn't work as hard as he does. And defensively, he's not as good either. So yeah, that's what I see with that. And I'm just curious, why you guys think a four back system could be beneficial to us. I understand, that's more traditional. I understand 4-4-2 back in the day with United won everything, 5 trophies in 2008. I was there for it. That's the era that I grew up in. So yeah, I love 4-4-2. That's what I played when I was growing up too. We played a little diamond in the midfield. It's more like a 4-1-2-1-2, but hey, it's a variation. So what I think of it though is I see a numbers game. It's just a foundation to what you're doing on the field. It's more so the system and the tactics that you instill in the team to be innovative and to be more fluid. That's what creates a better team. So it's not so much like you gotta play 4-3-3 and you're gonna be winning games. It's what are you gonna do in that system? Because when a 4-3-3 is played and the right back overlaps the outside mid, it's now 3-4-3. So it's really just numbers moving around the pitch, creating space, and trying to open up the opposition. And when I see Amrim's system, I see a unit working together. I see a team that can play five in the back. I also see a team that pushes 4, 6 players forward at a time, sometimes even seven. So, and then I also see our right and left center backs getting forward and crossing the ball. And it's something we saw against the Arsenal game. Arsenal was sitting deep. They're trying to hold on to that 1-0 lead. We were pushing Euro and Delit, or sorry, yeah, Delit actually towards the end of the game, and then Shaw on the left side. We were pushing them forward, and they were actually serving crosses in that game. I think there was like 4 or 5 crosses served by the center backs. And going to this Burnley game, I mean, Luke Shaw had 8 passes into the final third. That just tells you how much that we're really trying to use our outside center backs, and that's why he's subbing them and trying to keep them fresh because he's demanding so much of them. So another one of those things I think is very interesting. For me, when I look at that four back system, I look at our personnel and I see Casemiro as a holding mid. And however way I think about it, I don't see it being good because I think Casemiro is going to get dribbled by in open space a lot. And when you have players running at your 2 center backs, it's dangerous. And now it happens with what we got now, but also we have 3 backs. And also we have a system that we've worked on over summer and we have players that work as a unit. I think when we saw Ten Hag's demise, we saw a lot of lost possession and a lot of those losses of possession leading to goals. Now we've lost the ball in bad areas of the field and we haven't been punished nearly as bad as that time. So that tells me 2 things. One, the system is organized, and then 2, the players, probably most of all, the players are fighting for the system. I think that's the main thing. If the players are buying in and trying to execute, then we should be supporting the manager and supporting the players. We shouldn't be asking for them to leave and get out of the club and try to throw everything away after 3, 4 games of the season because they've worked so hard to get to this point. Amram, this is his first off season, so that's a big thing in order to get an off season with these guys and get these players in and teach them this complex system because it's not simple. I think people get too sucked into these numbers, and I want you guys to watch the game next time and look at how the numbers move on the field and watch how it's not just 3 in the back all the time. Watch how it's not just, you know, one up front because a lot of times the front man is dropping in and being a false 9, or a lot of times Mount or Cunha as that number 10 role is going to come in and help defensively in that midfield 2. So now it's a midfield 3 instead of a 2. And hey, that's the main complaint of the whole thing. It's like, oh, we can't play Bruno and Casemiro in the midfield, but look at Bruno's statistics. Bruno's got the most possessions won in the Premier League so far, and he also has created the most chances in the Premier League. I mean, it's tough to criticize a guy that's doing that, right? But I see it every day on social media. We're just getting criticism left and right for Bruno. So yeah, I think that's it, guys. I just wanted to ramble about this whole system fiasco and get your guys' thoughts on it. I see a team that's innovative. I see Amorim being creative with what he's doing in football. I think he sees the writing on the wall. He's probably watching Pep's team starting to die. And it's just a system that's a way of the past. I mean, that those Barcelona days of possession were just tiki taka, knocking the ball around and holding the ball for 75% of the game. It's days of the past. I mean, obviously that helps, but it's about what the team is doing and being creative within that system. So, yeah, guys, subscribe.